Hello, welcome back to Thrive Yoga Fit Transformational Coaching. This is Erin. So, I have been having so much fun with connecting to my heart and using frequency and neurovascular holds. It just so happens at the studio that I'm covering like half the classes the last 2 weeks. So, I feel very chill, I feel very mellow, and I've been incorporating this into all my classes as well as my client sessions. And, you know, I've been doing this a long time. And if I come across tools that are going to expedite all of this work and, also has backing from my spiritual texts like the Yoga Sutras, then of course I'm going to dive right in. And that is exactly what I'm doing. I feel like I've tapped into something that has stitched together all the different fragments of all the different knowledge that I have from different Eastern philosophies, from my years of yoga studies, from increased empathy from working with clients for almost 20 years. Actually, one of my very first yoga teachers came to my most recent workshop, David Shattuck. Hello, David, if you're listening. And he even wore like our graduating class shirt, and he turned around and showed me. I was like, "Oh my God!" Like my name's on it. So um, he came to my workshop, and he was impressed by the tools. He said, "Erin, I'm proud of you." It was like, "Hey, thank you." So it's really nice to have your teachers come and do that. But if I find tools that are going to make things quicker and easy for you all and for myself, then by all means, I'm going to use them. And of course, I'm going to teach them because I'm a teacher, I'm not a gatekeeper. And I think that the more that people can raise their frequency, vibration, and thrive, the better off everybody is, right? There's not like a shortage of joy, there's not a shortage of love, but rather we can increase the frequency and have more of it if everybody's a little bit happier, if we have tools. And there's some people that want to work with me more closely personally, so I do have 2 spots open for personal coaching if you're interested, with the understanding that I am going to Japan from November 1st to the 17th. But besides that, there shouldn't be interruptions, except I have a retreat coming up that is basically replacing my coach course. And there's an opportunity to take the retreat as the first 2 modules, and then there's additional modules that you can come to and continue your studies. So the first 5 days are all about frequency, accessing subconscious belief systems, addressing emotions, needs, and most importantly, connecting with unconditional love and stabilizing that inside of you, which is part of what I want to talk about today. So, the first 3 Yoga Sutras, Atha Yoga Nushasanam, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, Taradrashtu Swarupe Vastanam. These 3 Yoga Sutras allude to a lot of the things that I'm saying, and especially the second and third Yoga Sutras. So the first one is all about being present. Atta means present, and Yoga Nushasanam. So now begins the exposition of yoga. Now begins the practice of yoga. Yoga is in the now. Now yoga, you can kind of flop them back and forth. The second Yoga Sutra, Yoga's Chitta Vritti Nirodha, is about drawing consciousness into the heart space and stabilizing it there, which means unconditional love. Unconditional love. So unconditional love is the frequency. That's our like true nature, is joy and love. So if we can draw into heart center and stabilize it there, then we're a lot happier and the other sutras fall into place. The third Yoga Sutra, Taradrashtu Swarupe Vastanam, is then we abide in our true nature, which is joy, love, and look out in the world with less distortion. Why? Because we're grounded in our true nature. So we don't have the stories, we don't have the projections, or at least they're not quite as loud. So when I'm doing that retreat, I'm focusing mostly on that, and then the other tools kind of wrap around it. So I'm super excited. If you're interested, you can reach out to me, Erin at erincoach.com. I already have people signing up. I just released this, and it will be up on the website soon, definitely by the time this podcast released. So it's thriveyogafit.com if you want to sign up online. Cool. All right, so today's episode, I want to just quickly go over some of the techniques that I've been teaching. And they're simple, they're quick, they're effective, and I love them. so, um, so this technique is in 3 parts. So it involves neurovascular holds, humming, and breath work. So I want you to think of the first part, which is like breath work, is capturing prana. You're reining in energy so that you can use it for your evolution. You can use it to direct in the body to release stuck emotional pain patterns, so on and so forth. Pain is, in its very essence, stagnant energy. So that could come in the form of emotions, it could come in the form of physical pain, it could come in the form of chronic illness, acute illness, so on and so forth. I have a friend, I won't say his name, but I share this with him. It's like if I have an emotion and it comes up real strong and I'm like, push it down, then guess what happens? Ow, my back. Oh, I have a headache. Ooh, like my shoulder hurts. It's all connected because it's stagnant energy. So sometimes we suppress these things for so long that then they start to become chronic illness, right? So we want to make sure that we're not doing that, that we're allowing energy to flow. So prana helps us to capture energy so that we can have the emotional bandwidth to be able to do the rest of the work that I'm teaching. So the breath is in through the nose and then out through the mouth, kind of like you're blowing out birthday candles. So I have to look up the Sanskrit name for this breath because there's so many different kinds, and I usually do Ujjayi breath. That's what I teach, but this breath is a little bit different, pretty simple, and it helps you to capture prana, helps you to pull in life force. For my yogis, in addition to this, you would pull in Mula Bandha and then kind of lift that energy in and up. So you're making a container of energy to do the work, right? So the first part of the technique is doing that breath while you have your left hand over your heart and then while you have your right hand on your belly. So you're basically like you're like, okay, I'm pulling it in. And you're gently pulling your front body into your back body and your back body into your front body. So it's like the parts of your body are hugging. The front is the egoic. Look at my nails. um, the front body is pulling into the back body, and the back body is kind of like expanding and gently hugging around the front body. So think of the front as like being cradled by the back and the back being a support. So having that structure, left hand over heart, right hand on the belly, and doing that for 2 minutes. Okay, this is what I've been teaching in my classes. So then after 2 minutes, and while this is happening, I'm playing the frequency in the background from a bowl, from a singing bowl of 432. 432 is unconditional love. And it's also the sound and resonance of the heart chakra, Anahata chakra. So it's like the frequency, the shapes, the sacred geometry, all these things line up. So again, first part of the technique, left hand over the heart, right hand on the belly. Good structure, okay? Second part of the technique is you're gonna take that hand that was on the belly and bring it on the back of the head. So you're cupping the back of the head. So in my last couple of podcasts, I've been teaching these neurovascular holds. This is just a slight different variation, but it makes a huge difference. So then you'll continue with the breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Continue that and do that for 2 minutes, okay? So then after that, we're gonna bring that hand that was on the heart up onto the forehead. So we bring the brainstem and the prefrontal cortex back online together. And you're gonna do that for 90 seconds to 2 minutes. And then after that, you're gonna add a hum. So the hum. So if you can, in the frequency of 432, I have a singing bowl, so I just kind of match my key and pitch to the singing bowl, and I have everybody else do it. And initially, you have like, but then they start to come into resonance because the heart, like when you're singing with a group of people and you sing for a little bit of time, your heartbeat syncs up. It's a beautiful thing. because your heart has 5,000 times the electromagnetic energy of your brain. And so, like, tell me who's really in charge. So, if you have the sort of biggest resonance and most coherence in your body, everyone's going to sync up to your heartbeat. So, it's kind of like the emotional alpha. So, from a heart led space. So this combination of techniques, again, is something that I've been using in my classes, and it's something that I'm teaching in my courses in addition to a lot of other things. But I want to give you some of my good stuff so you can try it out. And then maybe you're like, hey, this is awesome. I want more. Cool. Let's work together. I have a retreat, Activate Your Inner Healer, that's happening in January 16th to the 20th. So if you're interested in that, you can reach out at erin@erincoach.com, or you can go on the website thriveyogafit.com. So just to recap real quick, so the first part of the technique, left hand over the heart, right hand on the belly, front body into back body, sitting nice and tall. Inhale, exhale, 2 minutes. Then take the hand that's on the belly, bring it on the back of the head, on the cranium. Inhale, exhale. Okay, and then the next part, take the hand that was on the heart, bring it on the forehead. Then after 2 minutes of that, you can do and just think of unconditional love flowing through your body. We work on ourselves so that we can serve the world, so that we can conserve our energy, so that we can, love harder, love deeper. So this work is worthwhile, and I'm simplifying the tools. This is like expedited stuff. So in the morning, it might take you less than 10 minutes to do this practice. And if you do it every day, it's going to start you off on the right foot. So imagine if the tapes in the background, rather than having ones that are self-deprecating or defeating, imagine that you had tapes that were encouraging, saying like, I love you. Hey, you got this. You can do this. I believe in you. You deserve love. You deserve abundance. Things like that. So all those stem from a loving place, right? Like a loving person is more likely to do like kind acts versus like an angry, hateful person, right? So the tapes that we have, or the script that we have in the background, is really running the show. That's why I deal with subconscious belief systems, because you can do all the positive affirmations you want, but unless you're getting into the sort of deep clean in the subconscious, in the mind, and calming the limbic system, and having a routine set up to where you're using tools, you're going to be a slave to your mind, which you've heard the saying maybe before, that your mind is a wonderful servant and a terrible master. It's the truth. Bringing everything into coherence is key to lead a healthy, happy, prosperous life. so so I hope that you enjoyed this short and sweet podcast. And I'm going to be in Myrtle Beach next week, so you'll see another podcast. I usually try to trick you guys. I don't know why I do this, because I could just do whatever, but I try to like change my hair, my outfits. So sometimes you'll see my podcast kind of batch, and I'll have like a different shirt, but like my face oddly looks the same, or I have like the same makeup on. You figured it out. That's why. So I don't know why I feel like I have to do that, but I'm probably going to do that, even though I admitted that to you on the next podcast. Anyways, I hope that you have a fantastic week. And if this is plucking your heartstrings, or if you find this useful, feel free to share it with a friend. Again, I have 2 spots for personal coaching if you're interested in that, Erin@erincoach.com. And yeah, thanks for listening, and have a wonderful week. Namaste.